In Florida, if I own property, my mother-in-law did a ladybird deed putting me and my husband on the property. What happens with the homestead exemption? All right, so this property would have initially been your mother-in-law's. I'm assuming it was her primary residence and she had the homestead tax exemption on it, meaning she gets a cap on her taxes because it's her primary residence. And then she listed you and your husband as the remainderment or beneficiaries on a ladybird deed. A follow-up comment states that your mother-in-law has passed away. So now this property passed to you and your husband. That's how it works, just like a beneficiary on a bank account. Once she passed away, the property is now owned by you and your husband. Now, with regards to the homestead exemption, a couple things here. One, a homestead exemption cannot be inherited by a parent. So there's no way to actually take over her current homestead exemption, if that's sort of the question being asked, meaning once you get the property, then it goes into your names. If you want it to be your homestead, you don't have another property you're living at, you plan on having this property be your primary residence, then you and your husband will have to fill out the paperwork to get your own homestead exemption. And what happens is it basically starts the clock over again, where the county is going to assess the property for its value to determine property taxes. But once you file your homestead paperwork, if it's accepted and you meet all the requirements, then you'll start getting that cap on your taxes every year after your homestead's accepted. But it's not going to go off of the lower value that your mom had, meaning they are going to assess the property newly, look at what it is now. You can get it declared as homestead once you've met the requirements and you show that this is your primary residence. And once that does happen, then in the future, it'll put in the cap for you as well, meaning you'll get to take advantage of that homestead tax break. I get this a lot with, people ask about the tax exemption from parents. And I don't know if specifically this is what you're asking. It would be great if you could pass down the homestead tax exemption from parent to child, but the only person who can actually share someone's tax exemption is their spouse. So again, if the property were just in one person's name, but then their spouse inherits it, they can continue with the tax exemption, but a child would have to reapply, and then you would start with your own value, and then, for years to come, that exemption would kick in and cap your taxes. All right, hope this answers your question. If there's any other questions about ladybird deeds or estate planning in general and you're in Florida, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're atCause Law Office, the non-stuffy attorneys, and the link is in my bio.